If you can't fly, then run. If you can run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. Whatever you do, you have to keep on moving forward. Good evening, everyone. I am Andrea Oriel, and welcome to Ad America. Tonight, we come together to honor the legacy of a man who dedicated his life to the pursuit of justice and equality for all. Here in Tribute Ad America, I Have a Dream. Our performer for tonight is a composer, educator, and pianist featured nationally and internationally, including in the United States. And he is also former chair in music theory and composition in West Texas A&M University, Texas. He is also a former director of music in Amarillo College. But before I invite our performer for today, I would like to remind everyone to please make sure that your phone is turned off or in silent mode, and taking pictures and videos are allowed, but please make sure that your flash is off. And with that, let me introduce you our performer for today, introducing Misael Tambun.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to At America. Today, we're going to be performing a tribute for Martin Luther King. And on stage, we have Misael on the piano. Woo! And then we have Rainer on the saxophone. And me, I'm going to be singing. And my name is Claudia. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be performing a few songs, and make sure to stay tuned until the very end because we're going to be performing some original songs. So let's just get into it. The first song, it's called All of Me, and it's written by Gerald Marx. Enjoy! I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon of light to hopes to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself an exile in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note, insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. And so we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. All of me, why not take all of me? Baby, can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I'll never use them. Take my arms, I want to lose them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. Tell me, how can I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them. Take my arms, I'll never use them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. Tell me, how can I go on, dear, without without you. You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? So why not take all of me? So why not take all of me? Okay, for the next song, we'll be performing. The song title is called Misty. You might know it from Ella Fitzgerald, but it's composed by Errol Garner. Yeah, okay, so I hope you enjoy. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. And those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. And there will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. But there is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from a cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. And they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. A tree, and I feel like I'm of your hello, that music I hear, I get misty the moment you're near. Can't you see that you're leading me on? And it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you on my own. When I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove, I'm too misty and too much in love. Look at me, I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree, and I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud. I can't understand, I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Or it might be the sound of your hello, that music I hear, I get misty the moment you're near. Can't you see that you're leading me on? And it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you on my own. When I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove, I'm too misty and too much in love. For the next song, we'll be watching a duet between Misael and Rainer. Enjoy!
Before we go to the next song, maybe I want to welcome to some of the audiences who came here. I know it's the middle of a lot of events today, with the Chinese New Year and the parade, the SCBD, but you guys are choosing to come here. It's such an honor for us. And next song, we're gonna play Blue Bosa. Enjoy.
From our performers today, Karina, Che, Claudia, and Camisa. Can I have another round of applause? Okay, so while taking a break, I have prepared some questions for you guys to answer. So, first question, Kenapa kakak-kakak tertarik buat tampil di acara hari ini, Tribute at America for Martin Luther King Jr.? Mungkin dari Kak Misael mau jawab?
Okay, I will answer first question. First of all, I would say thank you for the invitation by the at America, by the U.S. Embassy as well in Jakarta, who invited us to perform here. Such an honor for us. And also like to answer the question, Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the most respectful leaders in the world who people may already know like about his speech. And one of the speech called I Have a Dream is the one of the most prominent speech who never been forgotten ever in the world. It's such a proof that there's a void about the congregation segregation in the U.S. between the Black American and also the Native American and the White American, where this guy is actually striving for the justice. And why I'm very interested in this one because I got a chance again to compose an original song. So at the end of the show, you guys please stay here because like there's gonna be one original song that I composed and then we gonna perform together specifically from the sentences or even the conversation that Martin Luther King Jr. said to the audience that I fully transcribe it into one piece. So this is such a wonderful opportunity for us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kak Misael. What about Che, Claudia, and Karina? Do you have anything to add?
Um, Martin Luther King Jr., he's known for bringing up justice for racism. And these days, especially after the COVID, not only black or white men are being differentiated, but Asians as well. So, how can one person be so eager to fight for justice? So, yeah, I guess that's my answer.
Okay, what about Karina? Do you have anything to add?
Aman.
Okay, siap, aman. Okay, so next question. Do you have any like favorite quote or maybe speech from Martin Luther King? This is for Claudia.
I have a dream. And in his speech, he said like, I wish that one day, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
um, I wish that one day when we wake up, little black girls and boys and little white girls and boys can hold hands with each other. So like I feel like that's such a strong line from his speech. So yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Okay, thank you for answer, Che. And then next question. This is for Kak Rainer. Do you have any like pesan and kesan for our friends here who wants to express their freedom or maybe who wants to pursue career in music?
Okay. First of all, I'm really sorry if I'm not as fluent as them. English is not my second language
If
or
you
first
want to
language.
say it in
Okay,
Indonesian, that's fine.
I can speak Indonesian fine, but I'm gonna try
Okay,
my
okay.
best. Gak salah, pakai Indonesia aja. Jadi sebenarnya Martin Luther King kan udah jadi inspirasi buat banyak orang ya, tapi di sini juga kita bisa ngelihat perspektif lainnya bahwa dia tuh sebenarnya seorang dreamer gitu, seorang pemimpi ya. Dan buat kita para artis, we are all dreamers and we don't just dream, but we do. Like we dream a lot, but in order to have like maybe I don't know a successful is different for every person I assume, but I guarantee that all dreamers do what they dream about, and that's maybe like the society doesn't know what we came through, like gimana caranya buat kita bisa apa ya bisa gapai mimpi kita itu nggak cuma dengan kayak semoga semoga kita kayak gini ya, semoga kita kayak gini, tapi like the work ethic, the countless hours for us to practice maybe on our instruments or maybe like uh, on vocals or like piano, that takes really a lot of our time and have uh, many impacts for us. So just so you know that we have to make a lot of sacrifices for all the things you do. But in order to have doing what you're dreaming and dreaming what you're doing, you have to sacrifice a lot more. Then that's not too scary. I mean, that comes a lot for many jobs. Like I don't know, maybe I don't know, but in my case, like in a musician as an artist, I mean, that's what you should do and what you want to do, and I guess that's all I can say.
Okay, thank you very much, Kak Rainer. Okay, so last question. This is for our star for today, Kak Misael. So, how has your experience and learning and working in the United States and music has improved your career as a musician?
Okay, thank you for the question again. Um, I think this is like one of the big topic that probably we can make like one full session for this. But if you want me like to answer this in brief, um, actually to be a musician in the U.S., it's not as hard as to be musicians in Indonesia. So when I depend my study in the US, it's actually I found a lot of opportunities in the US, and from the gig until the very professional concert where they actually flew me to one of the professional orchestras back in Texas. That was such a wonderful opportunities to have. But I would say there are like three things that I learned when I studied in the US. Um, First of all is the knowledge where we got it, where um I would say like there are a lot of countries which offer the best education in the world, but I would say the USA has like the best of the best education in the world, especially to be an artist, to be musicians, because our life there is being considered as one of the prominent, I would say like a very important person over there. And second of all, I would say professionalism, where we don't really see like which kind of gig that will pay us lower than the other, because like we treat every single things as a professional as possible. And the third one that is very very important is networking, because like without a network, how good you are, you can't really like live or even like stay wherever you are actually. That's all what I learned there. And I saw some faces here, my friends who also study and live in the US. Tony and Rianu, thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer, Kak Misael, also Jack Claudia and Karina. Okay, now I'll before they perform their next piece, can I have another round of applause for Kak Misael, Jack Claudia, and Karina?
Okay, for this next song, it's called Moon River, and it's composed by Henry Mancini. Okay, Mancini. Thank you very much. Okay, this is popularized by Audrey Hepburn. Yeah, enjoy. And as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our bodies, heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the city. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating, "For whites only." We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells, and some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom, left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends. And so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. such a lot of world to see, where after the same rainbows end, waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend, Moon River and me. For the next song, it's called My Way, and you guys might know it from Frank Sinatra. Yeah, it's composed by G. Thibot. Yeah, hope you enjoy. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racist, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day, right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope, and this is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. My case, of which I'm certain. I've lived much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. Loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. What is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not For the next piece, it's another duet from Rainer and Misael. Yay, enjoy! Okay, so we've come to the very last song of today's performance, and this is the original that Misael was talking about. It was written by him himself. It's called American Dream. Yay.
Maybe you want to talk about the lyric?
Okay, so the lyric, as he said, it's from the speech that Martin Luther King Jr. said, and vocal wise, this is it's a sort of difficult piece to sing. So I believe that it's challenging for all of us here. And I hope you guys can get the message from this piece. Yeah. Thank you. And this will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the hiding Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. I say to you, say to
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for coming today, and thank you so much for our performers, Kak Reiner, Cek Claudia, and Kamisael. And if you guys enjoyed today's event, I would like to invite you guys to follow us on our social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at AT America, and also our newsletter at www.atamerica.or.id. And with that, I think we have met the end of our event today. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming today, and see you at the next At America event. Thank you.